Alethea Felton, and welcome to the Power Transformation Podcast. If you're struggling in your life with self-sabotaging and negative thoughts that leave you feeling stuck and limit you from moving forward, I can help you. As a holistic health and empowerment coach, I help people identify, challenge, and conquer those thoughts in order to make simple and practical changes to improve overall wellness. Let's remove those limitations, for the time is now to create your power transformation. Hey y'all, welcome back to yet another episode of the Power Transformation Podcast. And you know what, y'all? This is episode 42. And the reason why I am so excited is the date of this episode is August 23rd. But on August 27th, I will celebrate my 42nd birthday. So this episode is being released just around the corner from my 42nd birthday. And I am so excited. And more importantly, I am thrilled about the guest that we have today. We are going to get right into this episode. But first, yet again, I want to thank you for joining this podcast. And if you are new, welcome to the Power Transformation Podcast community. I do encourage you, I ask you to go ahead and follow or subscribe, give it a 5-star rating, leave a review, and share this episode with as many people as you know. And for everybody, even those of you who are subscribers and active listeners, I am so glad that you are with me today. And I ask that you would text this link that you are listening to, text it to 3 people that you know. What is going to be shared today is vital for everybody. And also just do it because we want everybody to be a part of the Power Transformation Podcast community. It is our custom here to always open and close with a positive affirmation. We are speaking those things that we desire and believe for our lives into existence. And when we speak those words, they manifest or come to pass in our reality. The more that we say it and believe it, then we become it. So I will say it once and you repeat it. In this moment, I am grounded, centered, and stable. I am so glad to have back Angela Norwood. She is back, y'all, by popular demand. And I say that because while my podcast is doing great, I have to give it to Angela because she went above and beyond by sharing this episode with her networks. I'm not saying past guests haven't. I don't want people to get me wrong, but she shared it with so many people. But also, I just think her expertise, people needed it. And she is all about mindfulness, meditation, stress relief, yoga, all of that. And so, Angela Norwood, I am so honored to have you. Hey, girl.
Hey, I'm so happy to be back. Thanks for asking me to come back on.
Yes, indeed. And you all may wonder why I had her to come back. It is because of this time of year. When you hear this specific episode, it will be near the end of August. And then September comes, and with September comes a lot of different things. But before we get that started, Angela, I'm going to ask you this question. When you first came, I asked, who is Angela Norwood? I'm not going to ask that. This is a random question. But Angela, if you could travel anywhere in the world, whether you've been or not, where would you travel and why?
Well, wherever it is, it would have to be near water. and preferably a beach because I just find water and sand and just feeling the sand underneath my feet is relaxing. So I
Mhm.
can't really pick one place, but wherever it would be, there'd be a beach. I
Yes.
love a sunrise, I love a sunset, and
What?
I'm not a nature
Yeah.
girl at all,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
but I love the beach.
Yeah. Because I do know that about you is that you not nature girl. Now me, I love all things nature. I can go in the woods, a jungle, the beach. Now, beaches and water, bodies of water are my absolute favorite. But you know me, girl. I can go anywhere in nature. Absolutely love it. But
No,
what?
thank you.
But you said nope. But what is it about a beach to you that brings you that tranquility you need?
It really has to do with the water, and water is so powerful, yet so serene at the same time.
Mhm.
And there's a comfort that comes upon me just being near water. And let me be clear. The sun is shining. It
Mm.
is warm. I can feel it on my skin. It just is almost like renewing my energy.
Yeah. Water is life-giving as well as the
Mhm.
sun. Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly. So let's get into this because I think that this is a good transition here. In addition to water giving us life and the sun, I have found in my own life that mindfulness has given me more life. And for people who did not hear your episode, and I'll go back and check to find the exact episode number so that people can listen to it. Actually, I have it now. It's episode 12, you all. The Myths of Mindfulness with Angela Norwood, episode 12. If you've not heard that, please take time to go back and listen to that. But Angela, just briefly, once again, just to kind of start off, what is mindfulness?
Mindfulness, simply put, is being in the present moment. And if you go a step further, it's being in the present moment, void of judgment of yourself or anything around you. You are just there.
Mm. Living in the present.
Hmm.
Why is it so important for when people do mindfulness practices? What is the importance of them doing their best to kind of retrain their brain to stay in the moment as opposed to thinking about future things they have to do or things in the past? Why is that emphasis on the present?
Well, with mindfulness, you can't do it wrong. By simply attempting to be in the present moment, you're training yourself. Mindfulness is a practice. And I'll say this again, it's just like getting in shape. You can't go to the gym one time and expect these tremendous results. Mindfulness is a practice, is something that you do regularly.
Mhm.
And the habit of practicing mindfulness, however you practice it, better prepares you for your everyday life. I've been practicing for years, and I see a difference in my approach to life and how I respond to everyday triggers.
Mhm. Exactly. And thinking about when we're doing this episode, the first episode was really focused on just a crash course in mindfulness,
Mhm,
teaching
mhm.
everybody what it is, what it's not, clearing up misconceptions, and also ending with some practices. And we're also going to end with some actual practices. But this episode, let's talk about the importance and the connection of stressors, anxiety, and how mindfulness can help that. offline, we talk, of course, in our private lives. And as you know, I'm going through a lot of transitions. You're going through
Yes.
transitions. Everybody in their own right are experiencing transitions. And listeners, as I said on the first episode, Angela and I met because we both used to teach at the same school. She's actually still there. And as you all know, since I shared recently, I just ended a 20-year career as a public school educator. Ended on a thank you,
Congratulations.
girl. Ended it on a very high note. Nothing happened. Nothing was wrong. It's just time to shift. And it was a high note. Loved my career. Ended in HR, but it's time for me to transition into other things. But Angela and I were talking privately about certain things. And one thing that came up was the fact that everybody is going through something and everybody is changing and transitioning. So Angela is going to talk most of this episode. I'll, of course, give her questions, but Angela, let's start off by talking about when you shared that September coming up, especially in this country, North America as a whole, but also in other parts of the world. What is so significant about September and how people's lives are often in transition in September?
So, before I even talk about September, I just want to drop this little nugget about how our body, our brain responds to stimuli. So, regardless of whether it is a stressor that is good stress or whether it's a stressor that is wearing us out, our body really doesn't know the difference. So, when it's happening, whatever, however, our body is responding is sending messages to our brain. And good stress, bad stress, it can still wear you out. So if you are starting a new job, that might be a good stressor. Maybe you lost your job. That's going to be a bad stressor. But with mindfulness, it helps you better manage either means of stress.
Mm.
Starting a new job, you might be worried about your commute. You might be worried about the people you're going to meet. These are all good things. Maybe you're earning more money. That's great. But it still could cause you some stress. And with mindfulness practices, it just allows you to have a toolbox to deal with some of these stressors. We talked about September. September for me has always been the most stressful month because I'm an educator. I'm
Mhm.
getting ready to go back to school. And I think about how things change for everybody in the month of September, regardless of whether you were a teacher, regardless of whether you have kids. And this stress could be good stress, this stress could be bad stress. But for the average person, they're even experiencing more stress on the road. There are more people on the road. And you're being impacted by something that may not have anything to do with you, but just because of the calendar year, you
Mhm.
find yourself impacted by it as well.
And even with that comes in some government sectors, for example,
Mm,
um, depending on the agency, September is their end of fiscal year, and it's a
yeah.
very intense, stressful time of the year, even for them. So, how can mindfulness be used to help people in stressful situations? That's very broad, so you can take it any way that you want to.
So I started off talking about mindfulness is about being in the present moment, but it wouldn't be fair for me to just leave it at that because it takes a lot of front loading for you to be able to get yourself to that present moment. And sometimes that looks like um, taking a breath, practicing your pause, and knowing, okay, I need to practice my pause. It's not enough to just have this flighty idea out in the air of what you can do. It's practicing it ahead of time, front loading, so that when these life things happen, you're able to respond in a way that's more helpful to you rather than hurtful. Um, it is keeping your cup full. When your cup is full, you can pour from your overflow. That's mindfulness, as opposed to running on E. And when we're running on E, not only are we no good to anybody else, we're no good to ourselves. So when I think about mindfulness, popular culture would lead you to believe that it is all about meditation, it is all about yoga. But that is a misconception. Mindfulness is whatever allows you to be in the present moment, that allows you to have peace and quiet so that you can restore and rejuvenate yourself. That could be getting up a little earlier and just sitting quietly with a cup of coffee before you start your day. That could be the gym, the treadmill, running, walking outside, playing a game, doing a puzzle. It's the time that you carve out during your day that allows you to have your space. When you carve that time out, you notice yourself start to settle. You notice your breath more often. And from those points, if you wanted to take it deeper into meditation, if you wanted to start practicing yoga and become more aware with your breath, that's great. That's gravy. But if you want to simply find your place, your space, that will set you up for a better day every day.
That's a lot that you shared, and it's excellent. And I want to ask a follow-up question here, keeping in mind that I do have a diverse audience and I don't ever want to make assumptions about anything. But you used a comparison that's common to me and I'm sure to others. But earlier you mentioned about your cup and having to fill from that overflow. Okay. Could you
Mm-hmm.
explain the comparison of we as people and what that cup represents, as well as what the overflow represents?
I imagine many people are familiar with the hamster wheel and how oftentimes we get ourselves so out of sorts in whatever is going on in our lives that we're just on that hamster wheel, running, 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 running until we are worn out, we are exhausted, we are tired, and we get to a certain point where it starts to physically affect us. We are sick. But if we continuously carve out time to pour into ourselves, to feed ourselves, both physically, mentally, and spiritually with what we need, we're better able to juggle some of the exterior stimuli, the life. Quite honestly, we're better able to catch the curveballs or at least dodge them so they don't hit us square in the head
Yeah.
because our
Uh-huh.
cup is full and it's not knocking us out. We can get back up because our cup is full. And the whole idea of pouring from your overflow is keeping yourself energized so that, and not even so that, when that event or situation comes that you have to deal with, it's not wearing you out.
Mm. Angela, can you share a time in your life where you were stressed or had a lot of anxiety and you needed to do mindfulness. Could you
Yeah.
explain at your comfort level, just a general idea of what that situation was when you knew that you needed more, how you knew mindfulness was what you needed and what that looks like in order to help you?
So last fall, we lost a student and a staff member within a week's time.
Wow.
And I taught the student, and I was a very good friend with the staff member, and that was overwhelming. Yet I still had to keep going to work and, getting up every morning and functioning.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot, quite frankly. And it was also the holidays. It
Mm.
was right between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So on top of the grief that I was feeling during that time, Christmas was there. Family was popping up. So my cup had to really stay full because I looked at that cup sometimes and that joint looked half empty.
Mm.
So I needed to really pour into myself. And I wasn't overwhelming myself. It was just a matter of getting up, getting on that treadmill, because that made me feel more energized. It was being quiet and focusing in on my breath and allowing myself to focus on positive things as opposed to the loss. The positivity helps soothe some of the pain and the grief from the loss. My gratitude journal helped with that, which I also consider a part of mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, yeah, that was a lot. But I know that my practices helped me cope with the sadness during that time and helped me also power through and celebrate the season with the people that are here.
Yes. Yes. And when I said audience, listeners earlier that Angela and I worked together at one point, at the time when we did, Angela was actually a history teacher. And since then, she has, I like to call it a promotion, but
Me
it is
too.
yes, you better say so. That's right, girl. But, but she has a role now that is not in most schools, public or private, in the country, not at all. And what she is now is pretty much, in layman's terms, she's a mindfulness teacher. And I'm not talking about a place where teachers during planning periods come and she coaches and teaches them. No, she is teaching students, middle schoolers, about
Woo!
mindfulness. And demographically speaking, that school where we taught is majority Black and Hispanic population. And this practice works, of course, for all races. But I emphasize this because I'm going to keep it plain. I'm a certified holistic wellness coach. In the Black and Brown communities, and I am a mixture of both, it is still rare to have holistic practitioners who look like us. It's
Yeah.
getting better now in 2023, but in the US as well as globally, it's still not a lot of us. I'll never forget, I went to a holistic wellness conference maybe about 5 years ago. Had to been about 300 people. There were literally two Black people in the entire conference, me and someone else. And I looked around it and I was just like, wow, because these practices, which are actually ancient practices that
Mhm.
that that started in countries with people that look like us. And continents, Africa and
Mm-hmm.
different places. These are intrinsic practices that are ancient and thousands upon thousands years old. And the fact Angela teaches young people, youth, who have had a past track record, not all of them. So hear me well, you all. But in that school in particular, it is a challenging population, a very challenging population where most kids do not know how to do conflict resolution. And many of their first resort was often fighting. And mindfulness is teaching them a different way of handling their emotions and being aware. Angela, what have you seen by implementing mindfulness to youth? And thank you for just letting me explain a bit more. But I haven't witnessed you in that role, but I've seen you do other things. But how has this even helped children with their anxiety and stress?
You know what? I was so blown away recently. I went to talk to a group of teachers about my school and our program, and I took some kids with me, and they said something that I did not know. I listened to them talk about how mindfulness has impacted them as individuals, and they also started talking about what they saw from other students.
Mm.
One of the students talked about how behaviors changed after they went through the mindfulness course because it's semesters. And they talked about how they observed other students respond differently, meaning more positively, less aggressively after taking the course than before. And I just, that brought so much joy and pride to my heart because when you're doing it, you don't always know that it's making the impact that you want it to.
Mm.
But to have the kids share that, many of the kids talked about it helping them self regulate. I had some athletes in my class, and they talked about often being irritated with their coaches when they were on the court and how mindfulness and reminding themselves to practice their pause, drop the rope, let it go, kept them from being disrespectful to their coaches when their coaches were getting on them, or just helping them not be so overwhelmed in these tense moments on the court, like at the what is it? The what line is it? The foul shot? What is it? Talk to me.
The free throw
Free
line.
throw.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
The free
yes,
throw
yes,
line. Yeah.
yes. And it's just listening to them talk. Another student suffers from epilepsy,
Oh.
and she was recently diagnosed. And she talked about how being diagnosed put her in such throes that her grades started to suffer. She wasn't feeling comfortable at school. And this had gone on through sixth and seventh grade.
Wow.
She began taking my course and she started dealing with her stress in a completely different way. Her grades went up. Her friend group started to flourish. I mean, talk about tears coming down my eyes.
Mm.
She had never shared this with me, but listening to her talk to other people who were asking her questions, I could not have imagined the results in this way. Another student with asthma talked about how the breath work has helped him to better control his condition. And I'm just like, wow.
Mm. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
Wow. Have
yeah.
you gotten any feedback from parents?
I haven't gotten a lot of feedback from parents. However, when we've had meetings, outreach meetings here and there, many of them were very, very interested in the course
Okay.
for themselves.
Okay.
Okay, for
Of
themselves.
course.
And they were very excited to have their kids enrolled because everybody needs something.
Hmm.
And mindfulness is for everybody. And if we go back around to self-care, everybody needs some form, some regimen of self-care. And that's part of mindfulness too.
Hmm. I'm so glad that you shared this, and particularly with the girl with the epilepsy diagnosis. And I know just even from my own practices is the connection between mindfulness practices, breath control, as well as the physical body and physical conditions. And for people that live with certain autoimmune illnesses specifically, or chronic illness,
Yes.
these types of practices definitely help as a form of a detox in a way. And
Yeah.
it's very
Pain
powerful.
management.
Yes, yes. So, what we're going to do now, Angela, is I'm going to mute myself completely and I'm going to give you the floor to share two or three practices. And again, this podcast for now is audio only. So it would need to be something that people don't have to look at you. And if a person does mindfulness correctly, even if they keep their eyes open, because I know that some people have anxiety and triggers about closing eyes, and the goal is to
Right.
eventually get there. But
Hmm.
the practices Angela will share with us are things you can do. As a disclaimer, I caution you, if right now, as you listen to this, you are driving to work or you are behind a motor vehicle, do not do these exercises until you are seated and somewhere safe. Angela and I will not be held liable for any
I know that's right.
accidents or anything because
Ugh.
you have to have full concentration and really be still. So please, if you are driving, pause this and come back later and actually do them, or listen and come back later. Okay. I'm just putting it out there. All right.
I know that's right. Well, you know
Okay.
what? I'm going to get everyone in a mindfulness mode, and then I'm going to go through a couple different practices, breathwork practices that you can do. So go ahead and find yourself a comfortable seated position, or if you would like to lay down, regardless, just get comfortable. Allow your shoulders to relax, sink further into your seat. I invite you to close your eyes or lower your gaze and just start to focus on the natural rise and fall of your chest. I invite you to just take a scan of your body and just see how you're feeling right now. And start at the very top of your head and work all the way down to your feet. Notice without any judgment how is your head feeling? Your eyes, your nose, your lips, your chin, your whole face, your neck, shoulders, your right arm, left arm, your back, your chest, both hips, thighs, knees, calves, your feet, And just bring your attention to the very bottom of your feet and just notice the connection that your feet are making to the floor. And feel grounded in this moment. And just breathe. And when you're ready, you can just bring your attention back to the natural rise and fall of your chest. And that is a body scan. And a body scan is something that you can do anywhere that you are. It only takes a minute or two. And the grounding allows you to feel safe and stable, much like a tree and its roots, unyielding, able to conquer whatever is in front of you. Now return your attention back to your breath, and we're going to move to our second practice. I talked a little earlier about the ocean. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to bring your hand and cover your ears. And as you are breathing in and out, just start to focus your attention on your breath. Start to deepen your breath. Slow inhale. Even slower exhale. Continue to breathe in this way. Slow inhale. Even slower exhale. And do 4 more on your own at your own pace. And just notice the sound of the ocean that you can hear in your ears. Sounding like rolling waves. One more breath, just like this. At the end of that last breath, just bring your attention back to the natural rise and fall of your chest. We have one more practice, and that's elevator breathing. And with elevator breathing, you're going to count on your inhale as if you were going up on an elevator, counting floor by floor by floor. And on your exhale, you're just going to count down as if you were going down an escalator or elevator until you get to your bottom floor. Now, this is a very individualized practice simply because everybody's floor is going to be different. But I will tell you that the idea is to make your trip down longer than your trip up. So I'll model the first one for you. So on my next inhale, I'm going to count up each floor. Inhaling now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm at my top floor. I'm going to pause. And now I'm going to start my trip down, exhaling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm at my bottom floor. Now practice with me. Start your elevator and you do your count. Inhale. Once you get to your top floor, hold, and then start your trip back down, trying to make sure your exhale is slower and longer than your inhale. 2 more breaths, just like that. As you finish that last breath, bring your attention back to the natural rise and fall of your chest. Take your attention back down to your feet, just noticing the connection that you're making to the ground. And let's end with the body scan. But we're going to work our way from our feet all the way up to the top of our head. So just notice, how are your feet feeling? Ankles, calves, knees, thighs, hips, your chest, your back, your right arm, left arm, your shoulders, your neck, your face, your whole head, your whole body. Just noticing how you feel. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes or widen your gaze and come right back.
Wow. 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 So needed. So needed. Thank you. Thank
You're
you so
absolutely
much.
welcome. I enjoy it,
Yes.
regardless of whether I am leading it or someone's leading me through it. It's an opportunity for me to keep my cup full.
Hmm. And you all can't see it, but Angela has a shirt on that says refuel. And I think that is so perfect. I saw it from the time she jumped up here and I said, yes, indeed, refuel. Oh my gosh, you all, I want us to just go ahead and transition out with this. I don't want to do too much more talking because I want you to stay in this space of peace and calm and being in the present moment. Please go back and listen to the first episode, if you haven't, of Angela. That was episode 12, The Myths of Mindfulness. But also you can play this one and can share it, do it over and over and over again. And as in the first episode, I'm going to have Angela's contact information. But Angela, briefly, will you let people know how they can follow you on social media?
Oh, sure, sure. I'm on Instagram at Self Care Counts.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Self-care counts. Yes, it does. And I'll also have it in the show notes. Angela, my sister friend, I love you.
Absolutely. I love you too.
I thank you. You are such a blessing and a gift.
Right
Thank
back
you.
at you, sister, for
Thank
sure.
you. Yeah. Thank you so much. And it is always an honor to have you. This will not be your last. Because we need these
I always have
check-ins.
time to come back.
Thank you, girl. We need
Mhm.
these check-ins. And please, you all, use mindfulness as a tool to help you with your stressors and your anxiety. It has been such an honor having Angela Norwood back yet again. And I love every time Angela comes. And I want us to just continue to stay in that moment of peace, calm, and tranquility. And let's go ahead and close out with our affirmation. I'll say it once and you repeat it. In this moment, I am grounded, centered, and stable. If you enjoyed today's show, then you don't want to miss an episode. So follow the Power Transformation Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you usually listen, and remember to rate and review. I also invite you to connect with me on social media at Alethea Felton. That's at ALETHEAFELTON. Until next time, remember to be good to yourself and to others.